Hi, welcome back once again. In the previous example, we have showed you how to do a loan amortization table using Excel and using Excel's function and by dragging and drop. Now next we'll be demonstrating how to produce or generate a loan amortization table using Excel VBA. Okay, where the problem is the same. We produce an amortization loan for a fixed rate loan, and the loan is to be repaid in equal annual installments, so that's life, and the first payment is made at the end of the first year. Alright, so we have really demonstrated how to generate our loan amortization table using the conventional Excel method. Alright, and but now we're going to use it by using Excel VBA. Now you can imagine that the output is going to look pretty much like the same. Alright, but things are going to be very interesting now, so sit tight. Alright, now the first thing is we will click on the new sheet and generate name it perhaps a loan amortization underscore VBA. Okay, one. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to do everything in Excel VBA. Now to go to our code editor window, press alternate 11. Alright, and there we have that. Alright, make sure that we are calculating on the correct sheet. Okay, click on sheet 4, which is the loan amortization underscore VBA sheet. Alright, so we're going to create a subroutine. Okay, subroutine, we're going to call it a loan amortization. Okay, enter, and it will generate the end sub statement for us. Okay, now the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to just write some comments first before we get lost. So get user inputs. Alright, now we know what are user inputs. User inputs are things like the interest rate. Okay, pretty much it will be what we're doing the same thing in over here. So we'll want to get user input interest rate, loan life, and the initial loan balance. Alright, so interest rate, loan life, and the loan balance, the initial loan balance. Okay, initial loan balance, the user inputs, and for history. So we're going to have to declare some variables for that. Okay, to declare a variable, use dim and then interest rate. Okay, and then loan life, and then initial loan balance. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, now we're going to ask the user for some input now, and then let's try. Alright, so the rate, we're going to ask the user for input, so input box, so please enter interest rate. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, then we're going to ask the user to input loan life. So input box. Okay, enter loan life. Alright, and lastly initial loan balance. Okay, input box. Okay, and loan amount. Okay, so this makes up the initial loan balance. And once we have all this, we should have our values inputted by the user assigned to the variables over here. Okay, and next what we'll do is we will write the user input to the sheet. Okay, so that we can make sure that our values are captured correctly. Alright, if we go back to our Excel sheet, okay, let's say we put some labels here, so interest rate, loan life, and initial loan balance. Alright, okay, so we're going to output the user capture input into B3, B4, B5. Okay, now to do that, okay, we can do this. Okay, cells, right? Okay, B3 and B4. So B3 is going to be in B3 is row 3, and in B it's B to the second column. So cells 3 to dot value equals to in grades. Okay, so I repeat this statement again. Cells 3 to refers to cell with row 3 and column 2. This will mean, okay, cell 3 to refers to B3. Alright, okay, and we're going to do the same for the next line, and we're going to change it to row 4, and this one to be the loan life. Okay, and in row 5 it's going to be the init loan val. Okay, so what we have done is we have actually took the variable that the user has input values into, and we assign this value into the actual cells. So the cells dot value represents the value property of the particular cell. Alright, so after this we should realize that the output has been done. How can we test this? Is we can click on the arrow button, okay, and enter interest rates. Say interest rate will be, for example, 10%. Okay, and loan life, say 10 years. Okay, loan amount will be 100,000. If I click OK, and yep, there I have it. Okay, everything is nicely outputted over there. Okay, so looks good so far. Alright, so we have successfully captured the user inputs. Now we'll proceed to do some calculation. So remember that back in our traditional method of calculating amortization loan, we have used the payment PMT function. Alright, now we can use this PMT function also in Microsoft Excel VBA, okay, in code, okay, by typing them. Okay, now we will declare one more variable which is called payment. Okay, so payment, we can set payment. Now the value of payment will be equals to, now this is where we can call PMT function. Okay, so calling this PMT is the same as using PMT in the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, and it will prompt us for our argument, our interest rate, so interest rate, and then our period, so loan life, and then our present value, and this will give it a negative low initial loan balance. So to make it format it correctly. Alright, and this should be it. Okay, so payment is calculated. Okay, and remember that in our initial output over here, we know that the year beginning balance, we set it to the initial loan balance. So that's what we do in our Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so what we need now is also we have to declare variables to contain these guys over here. Okay, these guys. So you can imagine that for columns, we would have to assign or create a variable to store the values of these columns for them. Okay, so the columns that we are going to need are quite a few, right? So I will just copy and paste this whole thing over here, and then I'll put a comment over here, okay, so that I remember what I need. So creating more variables. Okay, we're going to need a year beginning val. We're going to need annual payment. Now annual payment is already here, so I do not need that. I'm going to need interest component. Okay, interest component. Okay, interest component, and I'm going to need a principal component. I'm going to need a year end balance. Okay, so let's just do it as per here first. So initially, our year beginning balance, okay, will be equals to our initial loan balance over here. Okay, and let's set it like this first. Okay, so that's our year-end balance. Now next we will go on to calculate these three guys over here. Okay, so interest component we know will be equals to our year beginning balance, okay, times our interest rate. Okay, and our principal component. Okay, principal component will be our payment minus the rate of interest component. Okay, and our year-end val will be our year beginning balance minus our principal component. Oh yeah, that should be it. Alright, so we have calculated that. But please take note that we have only calculated them for 1 year. Okay, over here we need to calculate them for the number of years of our loan life. Okay, now how should we do that? How can we calculate repeatedly 1 year, 2 years? Should we just copy and paste this code 15 times or 10 times if it's 10 years? No, what we can do is we can do all this in a loop. Okay, in a loop that can tell us to do that. So we can do it, okay, using a for loop. So for, okay, now we have to start from first year. Okay, so from row number to do 1. The row number just symbolizes our row number, our first year. So for row number equals to 1, okay, to a loan life. So 1 to our loan life. We will do these things for each iteration of the loop. Okay, and then we have to make sure that we are going to increment the row number each time. Okay, so for each iteration of the loop, we calculate the interest component, principal component, and the year-end balance. Okay, but next is we have to output to a cell also. Okay, so we can say we have to output to a cell, similarly like how we have output to these cells. Alright, so we have to do a cell output. Okay, and again we're going to output cells similar to how we did this. Alright, okay, now to first output cells, we're going to have to determine which row and that we want. So let's say we want to output cells to okay, let's say we want to output cells starting from the below designated row. Okay, so okay, we can call it out row, for example. Out row equals to, let's say we output starting from row 10. Okay, so out row, okay, plus our row number over here. Okay, row number, and then okay, that should be it. Okay, so we want my interest component. Let's say I'm going to start from first on the first column. Okay, and then dot value, okay, equals to row number. So I'll have the year counter on the leftmost. Okay, and let me just copy this. Okay, now for the second column, I'm going to have my year beginning balance. So year beginning balance. Okay, and for the third row, okay, I'm going to have my annual payment. So this will be my payments. Okay, and for the couple of next, I'm going to just copy and paste. Okay, changes to fourth column, fifth column, and sixth column. For the fourth column, I'm going to have my interest component. Okay, for the fifth column, I'm going to have my principal component. Okay, and the last one, I'm going to have my year-end balance. Okay. Yep, that seems to be like it. And after I output, I must remember to set my new year beginning balance into my year end balance. Okay. Yep. So let's hopefully we achieve what we did. Okay. So cross our fingers. Click on the run button. Enter interest rates. Okay. 10. Loan life 10. Loan amount 100,000. And let's look at our Excel sheet. And yeah, pretty much that is what we have, but it doesn't seems to have some problems. Okay, don't worry. So let's take. So we know that this is year counter. Okay, I'll just year counter, and this is the year beginning balance. Okay, and this is going to be the payment. Okay, and this is going to be the interest component, and then this is going to be the principal component. Okay, and this is going to be the year and balance. Okay, so now let's say we do not know what's going on, like why are all these weird values showing. Okay, we can trace through and run it in debug mode. Okay, so we can trace through all the way. Okay, you go to step over, shift F8, enter interest rates. Okay, shift F8, enter loan life 10 years, shift F8, enter loan amount 100,000. Okay, and we output our interest rate, loan life, and loan balance, and calculate the payments. Okay, now let's look at the payment over here. Okay, interest rate 10, loan life 10, and the initial loan balance. Oh, okay, I know what's wrong, because our interest rate is not in percentage, right? So it's treating it as 10, which is 1000%. Okay, let's go back, and interest rate, let's just format this into a percentage. Okay, this will be 10. Okay, but what we should do, okay, let's try it again, run it again. Now interest rate, we should enter 0.1 now. Okay, enter loan life 10 years, and enter loan amount to be 100,000. Okay, so let's check our no, so things look much better now. Okay, I think we pretty much have the correct answer over here. Okay, now let's it seems that we have our amortization table generated. Okay, let's do some additions, which is we can format the cells. Okay, so we can format the cells. We can say that range. Okay, variable cells. Okay, out row. Range out row. 10. Okay. Out row. Cells. Out row. Okay, plus loan life. Okay, and to the 6th column. Okay, we're gonna select them. Okay, and we're gonna format them. Alright, oops, I have to close this thing. Okay, and selection dot number format. Okay, I'm gonna format it. Okay, hex and hex 0. Alright, so this one will give me my format in currency and with the commerce. Okay, let me try that again. Interest rate 0.1, which means 10%, loan life 10, and loan amount 100,000. And there I should have it. My loan amortization is, yeah, that's much better. Alright, okay. So that is amortization table being generated in using Excel VBA. Okay.